How much of your life truly belongs to you? Think about it. How many of your daily decisions, your career choices, your relationships, are based on what you genuinely want? And how many of them come from a silent pressure, the feeling that you should do something because it's expected of you? The truth is, a vast majority of people live under the weight of others' approval. They design their lives to fit into boxes created by parents, peers, or society, never pausing to ask if those boxes were ever meant for them. But the Stoics, they saw things differently. They believed that true freedom, real independence, begins when you stop living for others and start living for yourself. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinions than our own." Just imagine that for a moment. You're the one person who's with yourself every single second of your life, yet you hand over your choices to passing comments, to looks, to judgments from strangers. Why do we do that? What if instead you lived by your own values? What if your decisions were driven not by a need to impress, but by a desire to build a life that feels authentic and whole? In this episode, we'll dive into 10 timeless Stoic lessons, tools to help you take back your life, break free from the constant need for approval, and finally live on your own terms. By the end of this journey, you might just discover that the only approval you ever truly needed was your own. Let's start with the first core lesson. You are the only constant in your life. People change. Friends drift away. Relationships shift. Even families evolve in ways we can't predict. The world moves, and so do the people in it. But there's one person who will be with you through every moment, the triumphs, the breakdowns, the joy, the pain, and that person is you. Yet most of us live as if we'll always be surrounded by the same people. We bend, we compromise, we hide parts of ourselves to gain acceptance. But the Stoics knew a deep truth. You must build your life on your values, not the passing expectations of others. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." So what does that mean? It means stop shaping your path around what others expect. Define your own standards, and follow them. Because if you don't take control of your life, someone else will. And why do so many of us struggle with this? Often it's fear. We're afraid of losing relationships, of being misunderstood, of disappointing people we care about. But here's a powerful question. How many people from your past, people you once tried so hard to please, are even still in your life today? And of those who are still around, would they truly want you to betray yourself just to make them happy? The ones who genuinely care about you will respect your principles. And those who don't, maybe they were never meant to stay. Living by your own values isn't easy. It takes deep self-awareness. The sad truth is that many people don't even realize how much of their life is driven by external forces. They chase certain careers because society said it's successful. They jump into relationships because they fear being alone. They silence their own desires, thinking what they want is too selfish, too impractical, or too strange. But the Stoics remind us, the only true standard for a good life is the one you define for yourself. So where do you begin? Start by asking the questions most people avoid. What do you truly care about? What kind of life do you want to create? What values guide your actions when no one's watching? And then comes the next step, letting go of the need for external validation. You don't need anyone's permission to be yourself. You don't need a round of applause to do what's right for you. Epictetus reminds us, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Not everyone will understand your path, and that's okay. It's not their path, it's yours. And finally, never forget this. Your relationship with yourself is the most important one you will ever have. If you keep betraying your values just to keep others comfortable, you will never know real peace. But if you stay true to your beliefs, if your choices reflect your principles, if your life mirrors your vision, then no matter who stays or leaves, you'll stand on solid ground. People will come and go, circumstances will shift, but you will always be there with yourself. So live in a way that honors that fact. That brings us to the second insight. Seeking approval is a prison. Have you ever stopped to count how many decisions you've made, big or small, just because you were afraid of what someone else might think? Maybe it was not speaking your truth. Maybe it was not changing your path, or maybe it was pretending to be someone you're not, just to avoid rejection. Most of us do this every single day. The Stoics saw this for what it is, a form of slavery. As Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. In other words, if you truly want to grow, you must stop caring about how smart, successful, or impressive you appear to others. If your self-worth is tied to external praise, then you're trapped forever dancing to someone else's tune. Ask yourself this: have you ever held back from doing something you genuinely wanted just because you feared judgment? Maybe it was trying a new path, picking up a creative passion, or simply speaking your mind. Can you remember that moment? Have you ever held back out of fear of looking foolish, fear of letting others down, fear of not meeting their expectations? But pause for a moment and ask yourself, whose life am I really living? Mine or theirs? Because here's the hard truth. No matter how much effort you put in, you'll never be able to make everyone happy. Even the greatest minds in history, philosophers, artists, emperors, had critics. Take Marcus Aurelius, one of the most admired emperors of all time. He understood this well when he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He knew that if he allowed the opinions of others to control his thoughts, he'd never lead effectively. If even an emperor couldn't escape being judged, what chance do we have? But here's the key. While you can't stop people from judging, you can choose not to let their opinions define you. So, how do you break free from the prison of approval seeking? First, realize this powerful fact: most people are not thinking about you as much as you fear. Everyone's busy carrying the weight of their own insecurities, worries, and distractions. The fear of judgment is usually louder than the judgment itself. Second, try making decisions without seeking anyone's validation. If every time you face a decision, big or small, you feel the need to ask someone else for approval, you are not living independently. Practice this. Next time you're unsure, pause and ask yourself, what do I truly want? Then act on it. Just that. No second opinions, no likes, just self-trust. Over time, this strengthens your inner confidence. Third, understand that approval is never permanent. One day they admire you, the next they criticize. If your peace depends on people's applause, your happiness will rise and fall like waves in a storm. But when you build your self-worth on your own standards, you become grounded like a mountain, unmoved by the wind. Finally, accept that some people will misunderstand you, and that's perfectly okay. Not everyone will see your vision, agree with your values, or understand your path, and they don't have to. Seneca said it best: the greatest wealth is a poverty of desires. Stop craving approval, stop chasing validation. The only yes you need is your own. When you let go of trying to live for others, something powerful happens. You begin living for yourself. Your choices become your own. Your happiness is no longer borrowed, it's built, and that is what true freedom feels like. 3. Time is your most precious asset. Let me ask you this: if someone stole your money, wouldn't you be outraged? You'd fight to get it back, wouldn't you? But when people steal our time through distractions, pointless obligations, or meaningless small talk, we just let it go. No protest, no boundaries. And yet, time is the one thing you can never get back. Seneca warned us, people are frugal in guarding their personal property, but wasteful with the one thing they should protect most: time. Every minute you spend obsessing over what others think, trying to meet expectations, or scrolling aimlessly is a moment stolen from your life. And sadly, most people don't realize this until it's too late. Only when they look back do they see how much of their life was directed by voices that were never truly their own. But the Stoics remind us you can reclaim your time. Starting now, look at how you spend your days. How many of your hours are poured into things that genuinely matter to you, and how many are wasted on things you won't even remember a year from now? Pointless arguments, mindless social media, worrying about what you can't control. Marcus Aurelius said, you could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. Time isn't infinite. One day you'll wish you had more. So how do you protect your time? First, eliminate unnecessary obligations. Many people say yes out of guilt, attending events, doing favors, going to meetings without asking a simple question. Does this contribute to the life I want? If the answer is no, don't do it. Your time is too valuable to be spent on things that drain you. Second, stop wasting time on things you can't control, worrying about the past, fearing the future, trying to change others. None of it changes reality. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the ability to live as we wish." But if you're always reacting to things beyond your power, are you really free? Another powerful habit. Prioritize deep, meaningful work. The Stoics believed every moment should be an opportunity to grow, learn a skill, build something that matters, reflect, improve. Don't just spend your time invested on. Most importantly, be ruthless with your time, because no one else will be. People will always ask for more of your attention, your energy, your presence. But if you say yes to everything, you say no to yourself. Seneca reminds us life is long if you know how to use it. 1328. Make sure that when you look back, you don't see a life shaped by everyone else's desires. Make sure you see your life on your terms. Time is the most precious thing you own. Guard it fiercely, use it wisely, never give it away without purpose. 4. Opinions are cheap, but your peace is priceless. 1417. No matter what you do, people will always have something to say. Some will applaud you, others will doubt you. Some may misunderstand your choices. Others may judge without knowing anything about you. And if you spend your life chasing their approval, trying to win over every voice, you will never experience true peace. The Stoics saw this clearly. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Most of what people say, it's just noise. So why do we let it shake us so deeply?" Trank 3 transcript: 3, rewritten 15 o'clock. Every time you let someone's opinion define your self-worth, you're quietly handing them a power they do not deserve. The first step to freeing yourself from this invisible weight is understanding that most people speak from their own fears, not from truth. When someone doubts your abilities, it often says more about their fear than about your potential. When someone criticizes your dreams, it's often because they never had the courage to chase their words, their reflections of their limits, nor yours. Epictetus captured this beautifully. If someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself, but reply, "You obviously do not know me well, or else you would see things differently." 1539. You don't have to fight every battle. You don't need to respond to every opinion. Next, ask yourself, whose opinions truly matter? Not all opinions are created equal. The comment of a stranger online shouldn't weigh the same as the advice of someone who truly knows and respects you. Yet many people spend more emotional energy worrying about what acquaintances think, people who add nothing to their lives, than they do listening to those who genuinely care. So before you let someone's words affect your peace, pause and ask, does this person know me? Do I trust and respect them? If not, why give their words any power? 1618. Another vital practice, cultivating indifference not only to criticism but also to praise. Yes, even praise can be a trap. If you live for applause, you'll fear silence. If you depend on being liked, you'll shrink the moment you're not. Seneca warned, "He who seeks approval has already condemned himself." Your goal isn't to be universally loved, it's to be at peace with yourself, no matter what they say. 1658. So protect your inner peace, treat it like your most sacred possession, because in a way, it is. Every moment you spend replaying someone's opinion in your head is a moment stolen from your joy, your focus, your growth. Let people talk. Let them think what they will. Their opinions don't shape your future. You do. At the end of the day, it's your life, your journey, your peace. And that's something only you can protect. 5. No one can walk your path for you. 1745. Advice is everywhere. Everyone wants to tell you how to live, what job to take, who to marry, what choices are smart. But here's a truth many forget. The people giving you advice won't live with the consequences. You will if you let others decide your direction. You may wake up one day in a life that doesn't even feel like yours, a life built on someone else's idea of happiness. The Stoics understood that while guidance is helpful, Responsibility is ultimately yours. Epictetus put it clearly, no man is free who is not master of himself. 1832. Freedom isn't just about external circumstances, it's about owning your life, your choices, and your outcomes. Yet, many people hand over that power without even realizing it. I took this job because my parents wanted me to. I stayed in this relationship because I didn't want to hurt anyone. But the moment you blame others for your life, you also give away your power. If they're responsible, then you're not in control. And if you're not in control, think about this. Have you ever poured your heart into something, worked tirelessly, finally achieved your goal, and then felt strangely empty after the praise faded? That's because true contentment doesn't come from recognition, it comes from within. External success can never fill an internal void. If you believe happiness comes only from being seen, admired, or rewarded, you'll forever be chasing but never keeping it. Marcus Aurelius saw this clearly when he wrote, "Do not waste what remains of your life in worrying about others. Unless it is for some mutual good, your joy shouldn't depend on applause. It should be built on your mindset, your daily actions, and the way you choose to live." So how do you build that kind of happiness? The kind that doesn't vanish when the lights dim. The first step, detach from external rewards. That doesn't mean you stop striving for excellence, but it does mean your reason for doing so should come from within. Ask yourself, if no one were watching, if no one ever praised me, would I still want to do this? If the answer is no, then your motivation is likely based on recognition, not purpose. True fulfillment comes when you do something because it matters to you, not because others are watching. Next, shift your focus from seeking validation to building self-respect. Epictetus asked, how long will you wait before you demand the best for yourself? Don't sit around hoping others will notice your worth. Acknowledge it yourself. Live a life that you admire. Let your actions reflect your values. Let your days speak your truth. Praise may come and go, but self-respect is yours to keep. Another, a vital piece of the puzzle. Find joy in the process, not just the outcome. Too often, people believe happiness lies after the goal. When I get the promotion, then I'll be happy. When I earn more, I'll finally feel secure. But the Stoics knew better. They taught that happiness isn't a destination, it's a way of living right now. The act of learning, growing, trying to be better, that's the reward. Marcus Aurelius said the fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good. Live well not for applause, but because it's the right thing to do. And lastly, stop letting others define your worth. If someone praises you, it doesn't make you more valuable. If someone criticizes you, it doesn't make you less. Your value does not rise or fall with public opinion. When you realize that, you become untouchable. Happiness based on recognition is fragile. It disappears the moment the applause fades. But happiness built on self-mastery, purpose, and peace within, that kind of happiness is unshakable. That is the kind the Stoics lived by. 7. You can't please everyone, and you shouldn't try. No matter what you do, how kind, how talented, how successful, someone will always disapprove. Someone will criticize. Someone will think you should be doing things their way. If you live to satisfy everyone, you risk losing yourself in the process. The Stoics knew this was a losing battle. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, people will think and say what they like. It's not up to you to control that. It's up to you to remain true to yourself. You could spend your entire life bending, adjusting, trying to fit into their expectations, and still, someone will find fault. Someone will disapprove. Have you ever held back from taking a leap, starting something new, ending something old because you feared what others might say? Here's the irony. Even if you do exactly what they expect, someone else will still disagree. Seneca put it bluntly, you will never please everyone. Stop trying, and when you try to please everyone, you end up pleasing no one, especially not yourself. You silence your voice, you bury your desires, you live with the constant tension of wondering how you're being perceived. But the Stoics teach a better path. The only approval that matters is your own. So how do you stop seeking approval and start living for you? First, accept that disapproval is part of life. Even Socrates, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, men of immense wisdom, ridicule and opposition. If even the greatest minds were misunderstood, Why expect to be exempt? In fact, when people question you, it's often a sign that you're finally living your life, not theirs. Next, develop your inner compass. If you don't define your values, society will define them for you. Ask yourself, what do I believe in? What kind of life do I want to build? With clear values, you act from principle, not pressure. Another essential skill, learning to disappoint others. Yes, disappoint them when necessary. Some will be upset when you set boundaries, others won't understand your choices, and that's okay. Their disappointment is not your responsibility, Epictetus said. If you want to improve, be willing to be misunderstood. Let them misunderstand, let them talk. You have a life to live. Finally, focus on what you can control. You can't force others to approve. You can't make them understand, but you can control how you live, what you stand for, and how you respond. So, choose wisely. Will you live for their validation or your own truth? The Stoics would say, you already know the answer. You can't please everyone, but the good news, you don't need to. Those who truly respect you will accept you as you are. The rest were never meant to be part of your journey anyway. 8. Living for others is a form of self-betrayal. How many times have you silenced what you really wanted just to keep someone else comfortable? How often have you swallowed your truth, pushed down your instincts, or taken a path that wasn't yours, simply to avoid letting someone down? Too many people wake up one day and realize they're living a life they never chose, a life shaped, not by their passions but by the expectations of others. They were so focused on pleasing everyone else, they forgot to ask, what do I truly want? The Stoics believed your first duty is to yourself. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, to live a good life, we have the potential for it if we learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference, and what makes no difference. The constant, shifting expectations of others. When you live for other people and it comes at the cost of your peace, purpose, or happiness, you're committing a quiet but painful act of self-betrayal. Think back. How many times have you ignored your instincts because you feared what others might think? Maybe you stayed in a job that drained you because it was safe. Maybe you remained in a relationship that no longer served you, just because others said you should. Maybe you said yes when every fiber of your being was screaming no, just to avoid disappointing someone. But in those moments, who suffered most? You did, and here's the harsh truth. The people you sacrificed yourself for, they'll move on with their lives, but you'll be left with the regret. To break this cycle, the first step is realizing this. Only you will live with the consequences of your choices. No one else wakes up in your mind. No one else carries the burden of your unhappiness. Seneca said it boldly. He who does not dare to be different will never be free. If a path doesn't align with your soul, it's not worth taking, no matter who expects it of you. Next, practice the power of saying no without guilt. Many people feel obligated to meet others' expectations out of fear of rejection, of disapproval, of being seen as selfish. But true strength, it's found in setting boundaries. If saying yes to someone else means saying no to yourself, pause. Ask, is this really worth my energy? Epictetus taught, no one is free who is not master of himself. Saying no is not selfish, it's an act of deep self-respect. You must also let go of the illusion that you can make everyone happy. You can't, you never could. No matter what you do, someone will disagree, someone will criticize, someone will expect more. But as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Instead of twisting yourself to fit into someone else's mold, focus on becoming who you were meant to be. And finally, ask yourself this powerful question. If I keep living like this, will I regret it? One of the greatest sorrows in life is looking back and realizing I never truly lived. I existed for everyone else, but never for myself. The good news, it's not too late to change that. Living for others is a prison. Living for yourself, that's freedom, and the choice, it's always yours. 9. Your energy is limited. Use it wisely. 35 minutes and 0 seconds. Your energy is one of the most precious resources you have, more valuable than money, more powerful than time, and yet, so many people waste it without even realizing it, drain themselves worrying about things outside their control. They engage in arguments that don't matter. They try to prove their worth to people who don't even care. But the Stoics knew a vital truth: where you direct your energy, it shapes the quality of your life. Marcus Aurelius said it best: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this, you have the power to revoke at any moment. 35 to 16 Most of what wears you down isn't the situation itself, it's how much mental and emotional space you give it. If you learn to guard your focus, protect your peace, and spend your energy with intention, you gain something rare: clarity and strength. Think about how often you've exhausted yourself over things that didn't deserve your attention. Maybe you replayed a conversation in your head for hours, stressed over what someone might be thinking, tried to fix a situation that was never yours to fix. And while all that was happening, your goals, your dreams, your peace, they were left behind. 36 minutes and 0 seconds. If you keep giving your energy to things that don't serve you, you'll always feel empty. So how do you protect this vital resource? First, stop fighting every battle. Not every opinion needs a counterpoint. Not every insult needs a comeback. Not every disagreement deserves your attention. The Stoics were masters of selective focus. Epictetus warned, trying to control what is outside your control is a recipe for suffering. Before reacting, ask, will this matter next week, next year? If not, let it go. 36 to 47 Next, set boundaries with people who drain you. We all know them: those who gossip, complain, or constantly unload their negativity. Seneca advised, associate with those who will make a better man of you. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who challenge you to grow, who respect your time and energy for everyone else. Love them from a distance. 37 to 32 Another powerful shift: focus your energy only on what you can control. So many wastes precious time obsessing over the economy, politics, other people's opinions, or past mistakes. But Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. So why drain yourself with worry? Redirect your focus, invest your energy in what moves you forward, and finally, prioritize your well-being. You cannot give your best to the world if you are constantly empty. Make time for stillness, for reflection, for growth. Guard your mental space as fiercely as you guard your home, because a disciplined mind creates a disciplined life. Your energy is not infinite each day. You decide where it flows, so spend it on what builds you, not on what breaks you. Trank 6 Transcript 6 Rewritten 38 to 13 Direct your energy only toward what brings clarity, purpose, and peace. Let everything else, every distraction, every opinion, every false obligation fade quietly into the background, right where it belongs. 10 One day, you'll wish you had lived differently. Imagine this: you're standing at the very end of your life. Looking back, what do you see? A life boldly lived, true to your values, guided by your own compass, or a life spent chasing approval, fearing rejection, and walking a path others chose for you? 38 minutes and 59 seconds. One of the hardest truths to face is this: time is running out. You don't know how many chapters are left in your story. And when the final page arrives, the only thing that will truly matter is, did you live for yourself? The Stoics reminded themselves of this daily through the practice of memento mori, remembering that death is inevitable, and life is fragile. Seneca warned, you act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire. We waste years hesitating, delaying decisions, putting off our dreams because we're afraid, and all the while, we behave as if we have forever. But the truth, we don't. 39 to 37 So ask yourself, the choices you're making today, are they leading to a life you'll be proud of, or are they quietly shaping a future you'll someday regret? Too many people spend decades in jobs they hate, in relationships that drain their spirit, suppressing their true desires for the sake of what's acceptable, and by the time they finally ask the hard questions, it's too late to change the answers. But it doesn't have to be that way. Marcus Aurelius gave us this powerful reminder: you could be good today, but instead, you choose tomorrow. Why wait? 40 minutes and 21 seconds. Why delay the life you know you were meant to live? The first step to living without regret is this: let go of fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping outside what feels safe or familiar. But ask yourself what is truly scarier, trying and falling short, or never trying at all, and spending the rest of your life wondering what if. The Stoics would say the only true failure is never having lived authentically in the first place. 41 minutes and 4 seconds. Next, prioritize what truly matters. If you found out you had just 1 year left, would you still spend hours scrolling social media? Would you keep saying yes to things that drain you? Would you still waste time trying to impress people who don't even know you? Or would you pour your energy into what brings you meaning, what fills your soul? Epictetus asked, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Don't wait for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment. The right time is now. 41 to 46. Another vital practice. Let go of the illusion that time is endless. People put off dreams, healing, growth because they believe someday will come. But someday is not a promise, it's a hope. And too often, it never arrives. So if there's something in your heart calling you, listen to it. If there's a truth you've been holding back, speak it. If there's a life you want to build, start today. 42 to 33. And most importantly, be true to yourself when the end comes. It won't matter how many followers you had, or whether you fit into every mold society handed you. What will matter is this: did you live a life that was real to you? Seneca said, as long as you live, keep learning how to live. The goal isn't perfection, the goal is authenticity. One day you will reflect on your life. Make sure that when you do, you feel not regret, but pride. Because at the end of it all, the only thing that truly matters is that you lived fully, fearlessly, and for yourself. 43 to 17. Living for yourself is not selfish, it is necessary. The Stoics understood that a life controlled by the judgments of others is no life at all. Marcus Aurelius. Seneca. Epictetus. They all taught this one timeless truth. Fulfillment doesn't come from applause, it doesn't come from approval, it comes from aligning your daily actions with your core values, your purpose, your truth, your principles. 44 minutes and 1 second. So let's recap the wisdom. You are the only constant in your life. Seeking approval is a prison. Time is your most precious asset. Opinions are cheap, but your peace is priceless. No one else can walk your path. Happiness doesn't come from recognition. You will never please everyone. Living for others is a betrayal of yourself. Your energy is limited. Use it wisely. And finally, one day, you'll either be grateful or wish you had lived differently. The choice is always yours. So if this message spoke to you, take a moment, leave a comment. Which of these lessons do you need most right now? And if you're ready to live on your own terms, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because every step you take towards self-mastery brings you one step closer to the life you were meant to live. Until next time, be bold, be true, and live fully.